Next up is Orcata, everybody's favorite. So this is the real picture of Aaron Imholt. I don't know what the fuck is going on in this picture, but someone needs to fix the lighting or the camera that exists at the Candy County Jail, because it is fucked beyond belief. Just completely fucked. So why is Aaron Imholt in jail? He's already out, but why was he in jail? The answer, he talked about Kayla Ricada. So here's a fascinating little development, okay? So when Aaron Imholt was convicted of revenge pornography, he took a plea deal which allowed him to get out scot-free for $50, basically, which is how we established the price of one Kayla nude unit. It is $50. However, his plea stipulated things which are, according to the Kiwi Farms legal team, unconstitutional. But the issue is that the stipulated order that he agreed to was agreed by him. So therefore, even though the order is unconstitutional, the way that it works is that even if you receive a blatantly unconstitutional order, you generally will have to comply with it, unless it is actually physically incapable for you to do so. For instance, if a judge orders you to lift a car, you can't comply with that because you can't lift a car. But if a judge orders you not to talk about somebody, that is unconstitutional, but you do have to comply with it until it is appealed. The issue is that Aaron Imholt agreed to this stipulation, and generally speaking, the court will allow you to agree to things that generally it could never impose on you if you actually agree to it. So that's an important thing that a good lawyer would watch out for. The court can tell you not to do certain things, but only if it's allowed to by law. However, it can agree to things that you agree to, even if they're very unusual. For instance, I remember a long time ago, there was a woman that got arrested for like some kind of really, really petty crime that was committed at a Subway. She lost her shit at a sandwich artist in a Subway and committed a crime that was serious enough that she went to jail. She agreed to, as part of her plea deal, to get a job at Subway for like a month. Obviously, we have anti-slavery constitutional amendments, right? So a judge could never order you to go work at Subway for a month, but he might accept a little quirky plea deal that involves working at Subway for a little bit, because I think that's actually a really fair way out of it. Okay, you don't go to jail, but you do have to work in service for a month, and then you'll get some fucking appreciation for what it's like to work in service, you bitch. That's completely fair, but you have to agree to it. Aaron Imholt agreed to an unconstitutional prohibition on him talking about Kayla Ricada. It is constitutional to be prohibited from talking to somebody, but it is not constitutional to be restricted from talking about somebody unless you agree to it, which he did. It would be the job of his attorney to say that you don't want to agree to this because you are a talk show host on the internet that covers internet drama, and the juiciest drama you know anything fucking about is about the Ricadas. So eventually, if you agree to this plea deal, you will eventually run afoul of it. And there's nothing that we can do about it because even though it's unconstitutional, you fucking agreed to it. That's what a good lawyer would say. His attorney did not appear to give him that rundown. And as a result, he is bound to a court order that he would have to work very, very hard to undo. Because in law, it's always easier to stop something from happening than it is to undo the thing that already happened. So he would have to try and throw out the plea agreement, and then he would have to get a new plea agreement and have to get that ruled unconstitutional and so on and so forth. And then he still has like a violation of probation thing for violating the court order, regardless of if the order was valid or not. It's like a huge deal. So he shouldn't have accepted the plea deal to begin with. And in doing so, he actually threw out a lot of his own arguments in his defense. So he put himself in a really bad position, which allowed him to inevitably get caught up. And fun fact, Ricada has been hinting that he wants to get his law license back. And he wants to get his law license back specifically so he can be a pro se litigant for himself, but also represent his wife and his companies. So as soon as he gets his law license back, he's going to be engaging in lawfare against all of his enemies to try and drain them of financial resources at zero cost to himself. So the issue with that is civil court and criminal court play by different rules. So if you are criminally held to a plea agreement that you're not allowed to talk about somebody, and then you're sued for defamation about somebody, you can be deposed. And in civil court, if you are deposed and you refuse to answer questions or provide information about somebody, the court instructs the jury to interpret that silence not as innocence, as it is in a criminal court, but as the worst possible thing that could ever be said. So if you refuse to answer a question, you're not reserving your right to be silent. That doesn't exist in civil court. You're actually confessing to the worst possible interpretation that silence could possibly mean. Did you murder somebody? That means yes. In civil court, that means you did. You not only murdered them, you fucking raped and murdered them and buried them alive, okay? That's what that means. So let's say that you theoretically agreed to an order that is unconstitutional that prohibits you from talking about Kayla Rekieta. And then Kayla Rekieta sues you via her husband attorney, Nick Rekieta, who just got his law license back. In this lawsuit, he ends up deposing you and asks you a series of questions. You have two options. You can either talk about Kayla Rekieta and go to jail for violating your agreement, or you can remain silent and be absolutely, totally fucking guilty for every single thing you are accused of, because your silence must be interpreted in the least favorable way possible. That is what has happened to Aaron Imholt. His loud, stupid fucking mouth has fucked him as hard as humanly possible. And it's going to be very, very, very expensive for him to fight the civil suit and also to fight the retarded plea deal that he should never have taken to begin with. That is the opinion of the Kiwi Farms legal team. Okay, so that's not my legal analysis. A real lawyer came up with that. So Nick has literally played 4D chess when it comes to Aaron Imholt, which is made much easier for Nick because Aaron Imholt seems to be playing against himself quite a bit. So he's really not in a good position. His bond was set by the judge at $100,000, which he has paid, I think, because you only pay a tenth. So he got a bondsman to give him $10,000 to pay this. So he's already out, but that's his bond. And I think child molesters in Minnesota get less than $100,000. But the reason why his bond was set so high, by the way, is because the plaintiff or the state raised that Aaron Imholt himself on live stream said he wasn't concerned about a violation of his plea agreement because Minnesota is so easy on criminals. So that thing I just said about child molesters getting less than $100,000 bond, that's literally what he said, and spat in the face of the fucking judge, who heard that and then said, fine, motherfucker, I'll give you some. You want some fucking bond? You want to see some fucking bond, motherfucker? $100,000. Bang, bang. That's what happened. So that's why you keep your fucking mouth shut. Shut the fuck up. Aaron Imholt, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Get a different lawyer and shut the fuck up. Stop doing your fucking live stream. No one fucking watches it. It doesn't matter. Nothing you say on there changes anything. Nick Rekieta lives in filth and squalor. His kids fucking hate him. His life almost left him. You're not punishing him. You're making him very, very happy when you shoot yourself in the fucking foot over and over and over again. You are ruining everything with your fucking idiotry, okay? Stop it. Shut up. Just, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? So his hearing's in October, I think, but he's out until then. Oh, one more thing, by the way. This clip of Rekieta is just very funny because look how uncomfortable he gets a super chat message that's in the AI voice, and then his guest looks as uncomfortable as humanly possible. I think the guest is wanting to give his apparently his hot takes about Karen Reed or some shit. So this is supposed to be like a serious law tube interview, but of course he can't do those anymore because he's a coke fried retard. And he gets the dopamine super chat, so he lets it play, and his guest has to listen to it.
What happened to the peen counter? Also, did you load the kiddos up with enough cocaine they won't disturb the show?
God damn it.
Yeah. So
He looks super impressed by that. He loves hearing about penises and children being doped up on cocaine. I'm sure that he heard lots of stuff, like when Rekieta announced this interview or whatever. He probably got lots of shit on Twitter, and then when he hears it on stream and hears him laughing about it, he's like, "Uh-oh, oopsies, shouldn't have done that." And then afterwards, by the way, last thing on Rekieta, our boy Nick met up with his best friend in the entire world, Patrick Melton, and gave us what is probably the worst photo of Nick, at least, but one of the worst photos I've ever seen. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this fat, greasy chomo wearing his own merch, and then Nick Rekieta looking like a 50-year-old fucking corpse. He reminds me of somebody like I know people compare him to Daniel Larson and say he's getting Larson-fied all the time, but he looks like a cartoon character or something. There's like a movie with like an old decrepit old man sitting in a rocking chair that I'm thinking of, because he looks like he's 50 to 60 fucking years old. He just looks terrible. He's like balding, and it's like, that's your friend, bro. Your best friend in the whole world is a fucking chomo. And by the way, I think they got kicked out of this bar. I think they're at something like called Stonies or something. And Patrick Melton got punched or something by the owner, and they were removed from the bar. I think that was a rumor I saw. I don't even know if that's real, but that's what I heard. I don't know. Tell me who you think Rekieta looks like, because he looks like somebody. He just looks so fucking old and sick, and just he looks hollowed out. It's like an actual. You know how like in like a video game, how you have like in certain games, like in Fable, you have like that morality meter, and it's like when you're good, you have like this glowing radiance around you as in your character, and then when you're evil, like the ground cracks and turns to lava as you walk around, and you're like all like shadowy and shit, and you have little devil horns and stuff. That's like Rekieta. It's like he's like actually slipping down the Fable morality meter, and his like horns are starting to poke out of his fucking head. He's getting a little demon tail. The earth is starting to crack underneath him as he walks from his fucking sheer malevolence. It's just like, you just look at this motherfucker and say like you lost it. You lost it. You lost your immortal soul. It's coated in black wax now. Aura, exactly, precisely. It's aura. Don't do drugs, kids.
Thank you for watching this clip by Colonel J. This is the King of Bold here. Remember to like and subscribe. Juice!